It's the Brian and Kendra Show with Brian Cook and Kendra Cox of Keller Williams Realty Elite.
I am Kendra Cox.
I'm Brian Cook.
Between the two of us, we have over 30 years of experience.
Sharing real estate tips and advice. Right here on Classic Hits 1073.
All right, so tonight we are going to, so this is September 30th, tomorrow's October 1. We are officially in fall. That was September 23rd, I believe.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, right before my birthday. And we're still in my birthday months. Because it goes all the way through to October 25th.
Oh, jeez.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's over.
Well,
The
hey,
25th.
No, it was
it's
not.
over.
September is still here today.
I mean, September 25th. It was over.
Quit smacking the table.
You can't.
You
You
need
can't
to
just extend it.
out. I've
You can't
extended
take everybody's celebration.
I've encouraged other people. Our friend Jen and Travis, her birthday months are just a second half,
Months?
I think. Yeah, November-ary. Was that what she told me?
Yeah, November-ary.
It's brilliant.
So November,
This
December,
is a
January.
thing, man. Except for you don't get one.
I don't.
Okay, thanks for the birthday cake, though. That was pretty yummy.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
It
today,
was.
since it's fall, we're going to talk about some maintenance tasks. And this is kind of an annual thing that we do because maintenance is important. If we do not maintain our properties, then it creates issues whenever we go to sell them.
Right. And last week we talked about budgeting. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago?
I don't
Whatever.
wanna
A few
talk
weeks
about
ago
it
we
anymore.
talked about budgeting. And so this is part of the budgeting.
It really is.
That you need to make sure that there's some of these things you can do to keep up with you want your house to stay a good investment. And sometimes when you let the maintenance fall apart, then it gets very expensive to fix the thing instead of just lightly fix it. So, number one on the list is trees and shrubs around your foundation and your HVAC, your outside condenser. So if you'll let the trees, if you don't nip them off, then they'll grow up and create foundation issues. They'll mess up you block the circulation for your air, for your air conditioner condenser. They're going to rub the paint off your house. They're going to rub the shingles off your roof, mess up your screens on your windows. So, you need to get trees and shrubs. And this is another thing that I was talking to one of the landscape guys here in town. He said, man, people, they plant stuff way too close. They're like, they get this little bitty plant from Walmart,
Right.
hey, I'm going to plant it right here, 12 inches away from the house. And they need to be 3 foot away. And I know it looks funny now, but in 10 years, you're going to have to dig that thing up and move
Right.
it. So it says on the little card sometimes, or ask your landscaper guy, when you plant new shrubs, if you're going to plant new shrubs, don't plant them right next to the house. So trees, shrubs, all that. You need a good 12, I would say, I'm guessing now, 12, 2 foot away from the house.
He doesn't know. He just knows about
Just
trenching.
get it, unless you're going to trench next to your house.
Okay, but this is, here's the deal. Recently, we've had a couple of different houses that this was an appraisal requirement that we had the trees were hanging over the roof, and the lender said, hey, that's not acceptable. And so we've had to have those cut back. So if you maintain them as they're growing, if we maintain them before they get to that point, it's usually less expensive too.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have sycamore trees in my front yard, and I love them. They're wonderful. They are beautiful. But I know, so I've already had them trimmed once. It's already, I'm going to have them trimmed again.
We can't say trend and trencing. Trencing
Yes.
and trend.
So my
Got it.
trees are have to be cut back again next year.
Wow.
Which frankly makes me kind of sad because I really love them.
Yeah.
But
Which they should be healthier once you get them trimmed right. If you get them pruned right, yes, they'll be healthier.
I don't know about doing it right. I just going to pay somebody to do it.
Well, pay them right. Pay the right guys. Make sure they know what they're doing.
So
Because there are a few trees on Cheyenne that are dead because somebody trimmed them wrong.
Right. But the real deal is, though, I'm worried about my roof, and I'm worried about winter. So,
Yes.
and that's another thing with this is because we're talking about doing these things in the fall. Come an ice storm,
Yes.
we don't want our trees hanging over our roofs.
You don't want them hanging through your
So,
roof.
all right, what's next, boss?
Okay, next I have windows, caulking your windows and making sure they're airtight.
This sounds like a chore.
It does. And so
It really does.
So I was walking, I think I'm going to do this at my house. I don't think mine are even caulked at all. But my house is spray foamed, so I think it does it from the inside.
Interesting.
But I'm still going to do the walk around and verify that it's caulked around. But I've been in the house.
So
a while
inside or
back.
outside? Where does the caulking go?
I'm gonna put it on the outside.
Why?
Um,
I mean, I think I know why, but go ahead and say. Like, I mean, it makes sense
I
because
don't
the
want
air
the
comes
dirt to
from the
come
outside
in.
to the in, right?
the earliest penetration is where I want to stop it.
Okay,
So that would be on the outside.
got it. Do I need to do both though? Front and I mean, inside and outside, or
Inside
is
should
one enough?
already be done because when they tape and texture your windows,
Oh, sure
they
enough, that makes
generally
sense.
caulk
Yeah.
the inside of the window. And usually when they install
Makes
the
it
windows,
nice.
they caulk the inside. So, but if they miss that, that needs to be done as well. So
Alrighty then.
check your door frame, check your windows. Shut your door, look and see if there's light shining. If there is, get some weather stripping, put it in there. So that's a biggie. Next, so you was talking also about Northwest Electric, or was it OG&E?
Okay, yes. So I have OG&E. They're my electric provider, and so I had a nifty little letter last week that was talking about different things, a program that they have that will help a homeowner to do weatherization. Is that the right
Yes,
word? As I
weatherization.
said it,
Yep.
it sounded really weird. But
Sound
weather
like
stripping. Stop. I'm not the one that said trincing. That's you. Anyway, it looked like a really great program. I mean, even as far as helping with the stuff that you always tell me I need to get in my house.
Insulation.
Yes, insulation. Thanks. I don't know where that
That's
went.
next on the list.
No, really, it's next on my list too. I've got somebody going to come put insulation in my attic. Anyway, so the OG&E thing looked really cool. It did look like it might be income based.
It probably is, and I think it is. And we had a customer north of town in a single wide mobile home, manufactured house, north of town, and they came in and they put all new windows, caulked and sealed,
That would
door
be so
stripping.
amazing.
It was impressive how they helped them and buttoned up their skirting on the house, and they said it saved them $100 a month through the winter.
I mean, it looked like a really great program. And so I already told you that the dog then ate the letter,
the
and I
letter,
have no idea
So you might- if
anything else. But I think it's worth calling, and I
Yes.
intend to investigate further.
Yeah, so and maybe we can get one of them guys on the air. and
That would
talk
be
about it,
awesome.
Talk about that winterization. So that's your job.
We need an-
Or is that my
oh.
job? Whose job is that? Branson's job.
It stressed me out a little bit. Okay, so I need an OG&E person to talk to me.
Yes.
Okay. All right, what's next?
Next was insulation. I think if you're headed into winter, and winter's, I think it's harder on our stuff than summer is. The heat's bad, but man, winter just, I don't know, it just feels hard on your stuff. So, I would, and I feel like it's more dangerous in the winter, like when we have that dangerous cold stuff. I think
Man,
a
that's
little
kind of
bit
scary.
insulation, a little more insulation, be more protected for that kind of situation. And then your heat and air doesn't run as hard. It saves, it extends the life of your heat and air
Right.
and all that stuff. So, and insulation is really inexpensive for the value you will get back.
I hope you're right.
That's what we're saying. We'll test it. Are you measuring your utilities now?
I pay them, so I guess, yeah, I do.
So at 12 months after, we'll review and see if it saved you any money.
I'll know.
Okay. Okay, next.
Yeah, I hope they don't forget me.
Next is guttering.
All right, so I don't have gutters. And I think, I mean, so
I do, but I
they're
don't need
important
trees.
because why?
Well, you want, so you,
Like,
yes
that should
and
be
no.
next on my list. Why?
Okay, so if
Not
you're,
really, windows are next.
if your foundation, if your landscaping around your house has a natural flow of water away from your house, guttering is not that important. But
Okay.
if it is flat and you have water sitting right next to your foundation, you want to get it away from your house. So some houses don't need it. Some houses do. So most home inspectors are going to tell you you should get it.
I've also found that most home inspectors are telling us that we need to clean those suckers out.
Yes.
Because that is, it's a nasty chore, isn't it?
All hands
I mean,
who
it
cleaned out their
is.
gutters in the last 12 months.
Nope.
Nobody. Yeah.
But I mean, for reals, it is an absolute disgusting looking kind of a chore.
Yes.
So
oh, yeah. I
you've
saw
got
a
a
trick.
tip.
Go steal your wife's plastic spatula. That's a great idea. You can just flip it out of there. Never thought about that. And it's plastic. It won't run nothing. So Carrie Ann, I'm going to come steal your plastic spatulas. So, next. So that's a big deal. Get that done and then make sure they flow well. You can take a water hose and make sure they flow out make sure there's no bird nest or anything clogging them things up. So, you want to do, and you do want it to flow away from the house. So if your foundations, if the water's pooling up around your foundation, you need to get dig ditches or put in some yard drains or something. Get the water away from your foundation. Next is smoke detectors. Time change is always the time of year they recommend you test your smoke alarms. So
I test mine every time I cook. I said
so
it so
if you need
couldn't.
somebody to come test your call Kendra. She'll come over and cook toast or something. Smoke alarms.
Hey, wait, I want to tell you something.
Okay.
Kevin Kanzler,
Yes.
State Farm. He has Facebooked, and he said that lack of proper maintenance can cause issues at claims time, too, because normal maintenance or wear and tear are often not covered. So we need to be doing our general maintenance just to also, so that we don't have issues whenever it comes time to file claims
Right.
for insurance for different things.
So like I bet so if your trees are brushing your shingles off, that's
Right.
not going to be covered at all.
No. And I think the smoke detectors go under the same thing. I would imagine that our insurance agents would appreciate
Yes.
us having
Yes.
operable smoke detectors.
Yeah.
Mine definitely work.
So yeah, so you can test them. There's a little button on them, but it's easy to test them, and it's a lot of the time just better just change batteries. They're 9-volt. Most of them are 9-volt. Most of them that I've ever messed with are 9-volt.
Right.
So, like in my old house, I'm like so frustrated. It's like okay, and I'd go by and I'd change one at a time. Like when they start beeping, God, that
Yes.
was dumb. I'd just change them all at once. It's so easier. Okay, HVA inspection. So we were just discussing this before the show, talking about when you should have your heat and air checked. Well, really, you should have it checked out. Going into heat season, especially if you have gas heat, I think that's probably the primary most safety thing you can do to make sure the chambers aren't burnt into or rusted holes in where you're not getting CO2 in. That's probably a huge priority. And then springtime is when you get your outside condenser cleaned and used and done. So sometimes I've seen some people, they actually cover their outside condenser during the winter as long as you're not
Okay, so there's a trick with that.
as long as you're not a heat pump.
Yes. But I've been told, I don't know why I'm stuttering. I had a home inspector tell me that sometimes that those condensers go on accidentally. And I don't understand that. Did I misunderstand him?
I have no idea why
Surely,
they would
as
call
I'm
them.
saying that, I'm like, surely I didn't understand
Unless
him.
they're heat pump. Heat pump runs in the winter, but that'd be weird.
I
So,
know. Well, he was
all
saying that before you cover it, that you should turn off the
pull the breaker thing.
yes to the air conditioner.
Disconnect. Cool. So there's all
Anyway,
that. Little tip. I don't think it hurts to cover them. Pull the disconnect. But your heater, you need to have it checked. And Branson asked a question prior: is the smell when you first kick your heater on? So here's my one thing: test your heater a few weeks, like the first decent cool day, mid Sunday afternoon when you're goofing off. Just crank that sucker on. Let it burn all that up. Open the doors. Air out your house. And then you'll also know if something's not working right. So if something
Which is a great idea.
malfunctions when it comes to 0 degree weather, you have a couple of weeks to get parts, because parts are
Right.
hard to find right now. For
Absolutely.
Just about anything, getting somebody booked to come out and fix your heat and air has been a little tricky. Comfort Zone is who sponsors the show, and they've got a load of people working, and so they're really good at doing that. So, I think they charge $89 service fee. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to say it, but it's that way you see how much it costs to have them come out, spend an hour, go through your heat and air, check all your stuff, make sure there's no issues, crank it on, test it, turn it off.
But if we do this before it gets to be the most bitter cold
Right.
day when everybody else's breaks,
Yes.
then I think that it just alleviates all of that emergent feeling and all that stress.
Yeah, and then of course
Major
it's
stress saver.
like $200 an hour on Friday at 5.
No kidding.
So don't
Sunday at
or
3.
holidays.
Yep.
So it's good to do it. Like Sunday afternoon would be a great day to do it. So Monday you can call them first thing and say, "Hey."
Absolutely. I think
So-
that's a great tip.
Okay, we got several other things we need to talk about, but we probably need. And talking about fall checklist stuff to make sure fall maintenance. I got it. Stumbling through my words here because I'm hungry.
All right. So what's next?
Okay, so next is you want to continue watering your yard, sprinkler system wise, near the first freeze, because you need, your lawn is still growing through the first freeze. You want to still keep it watered. In fact, you need to fertilize it one more time.
I don't want to.
Budget. Oh wait, so you need to keep fertilizing, and that's good to fertilize it, especially at the end of the year. That way, spring, your lawn has a head start.
Right.
So speaking of sprinkler systems, is you need to pay attention to the weather, because some of your backflow preventers are up above the ground, and you need to get them things winterize because they'll freeze the fastest. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. If you don't know how to do your sprinkler system, call us. We got several good sprinkler guys in town. We'll hook you up with somebody that can teach you how to winterize them. But yes, the next big thing that's one of the most frustrating things is your water hoses. Drain your water hoses. Pull them off the hose bibs.
Okay, explain the why.
A hose bib is on your house. It's a frost-free hydrant, frost-free hose bib. It actually goes into your house about 12 to 18 inches, depending on how long you buy one. So when you shut it off, it actually drains out, leaving the water source 18 inches into the house or 12 inches into the house. If you connect a water hose to it, it leaves it full of water. Mm-hmm. So then it freezes, and then it breaks, and the plunger inside the house, which is 12 inches inside your house, spring first crank on, your waterfall inside your house.
Okay, so this happened whenever I was in school. I was probably 15, maybe. I don't know. I was at a summer camp, and my brother, I don't remember how. Anyway, while I was gone, somebody turned on the sprinkler, and my whole bedroom was flooded. So I got back, I had new carpet.
See?
But for reals, I mean, and we're talking a decent, I mean, that was a million years ago, so it was a 1980s home. It was a nice home. We're not talking like old houses. We're talking any house.
Right.
You've got to make sure you pay attention to that. Get those hoses off. And my son knows. Like, my son is on top of that game.
And you'll see it. So when we show houses all the time, you'll see a piece of sheetrock cut in the wall in the closet or in the bedroom.
We know.
And you're like, yep. Somebody didn't pull a hose bib off and they had to cut in the wall and fix it. So that's a big one. So be watching for that.
Chimney.
The next one's a big one. So we do have a chimney sweep in town. He's pretty busy. He's pretty booked up. So now is the time if you want to get somebody out. Call us. We'll forward you his number. But I've also noticed, I've had our handyman put on 3 chimney caps in the last couple months.
I know.
Because they don't have chimney caps. They must blow off. I bet they just blow off. And then they just put screens or leave them wide open so it rains in the house. So I've had, we had to have one custom made because we couldn't find one to fit down at Butcher's Metal.
Right.
And so you want to get that chimney cleaned out so that you don't create any, I just left all the creosote up in the chimney, which is when you burn the firewood.
Here's the deal. If you leave all that gunk up there, then it's a fire hazard, and we're not talking a good kind. That's the deal.
If it catches on fire inside that chimney, woo.
Not good.
No.
Bird nests, all kinds of stuff can be happening in there.
Yeah, so get your chimneys checked. So that's kind of the fall checklist. We'll come back in, 2 or 3 months when it gets really cold, and we'll talk about some winter stuff to make sure that we're taking care of that. So we appreciate you listening. If you got any questions about your house or have some maintenance tips or need a handyman or some connections, give us a shout. My number is 580-334-2303.
And mine is 580-216-0090.
Appreciate you listening to the Brian and Kendra Show, talking about real estate and Woodward area. Give us a call.